Guess who is with me driving again?
Hey!
It's Harvey Briggs!
How are you, Kristin?
One of my favorite writers.
Oh, yeah.
He's a good storyteller. He knows how to tell the story. So we are driving the 2020 Toyota Highlander, and this is the hybrid. And this is the limited trim, right?
Yes.
Yes,
is this
it is.
limited? Yes. Not the platinum trim, which would be the next level up.
Right. So this is the next to highest. One of my favorite things about this particular trim is that it has the upgraded JBL stereo.
Yes. It's got the loud stereo. 11 speakers.
1,200 watts.
1,200 watts.
1,200 watts.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
up from 895 was the previous version.
That's a big upgrade.
Big jump, right.
Yeah, so we've been listening to all kinds of music. We did some bluegrass for a while.
Yeah, we listened to some
Willie's.
Yeah, classic country, Willie Nelson and that whole group.
And it fits because we're driving through Texas, rural Texas.
Yeah, we're down outside of San Antonio in Green, Texas.
Yep, with the oldest dance hall in Texas.
Yeah,
in Green.
We're gonna go over to Green Hall after this drive and go check it out. And it's such a historic place. So many great artists have played there throughout the years. Regional Texas, famous folks back in the 20s, 30s, 40s, and then on to national acts now. They said Garth Brooks was just there.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's a tiny little dance hall.
Yes, it is. And the Austin airport expansion was modeled on this dance hall.
I'm going to have to fly to Austin and see what that looks like, because that sounds pretty interesting.
It's pretty interesting. So tell me about your impressions of the hybrid. I've said this before. Toyota and Lexus know how to do hybrids really well.
Yeah, they do. This hybrid powertrain is very smooth. It's not a super powerful hybrid performance. It's not a hybrid performance, it's a hybrid mileage setup.
Right.
So with this Highlander, which is a 3-row mid-size SUV, you can seat up to 8 in these things if you get the bench seat in the middle. And
you'll see this one with the limited trim, the captain's chairs are standard.
Right, and you get 36 miles per gallon in this hybrid. 36 miles per gallon in
It's pretty incredible.
A vehicle this big. It's pretty good. They said the range will be over 600 miles for this, so you can drive a long way without having to stop for gas. I hope you have a big bladder.
Right. For me, we were saying, I could drive from Austin to San Angelo, which is where my in-laws live. It's about a 3.5-hour drive, and back, I would not have to stop for gas.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, to get that kind of mileage out of a vehicle this big is really cool. And and then you drive it, and it drives like you would expect a vehicle like this to drive. It's not sporty, it's not incredibly powerful, but it has enough, right?
It's very reliable, and it's very
it's a Toyota. This thing is going to run forever.
Yeah, and the warranty, I think, is really impressive. They offer with the Highlander, it's a 2-year all-service deal where you can get your oil changes all included.
Right.
Plus, it's
150,000 mile warranty on the battery. Right, 10 years, 150,000 miles. Plus, you have the powertrain warranty is 5 years, and I want to say 100,000 on it. So, and it's a Toyota, so at 100 you're just breaking it in.
That's right. That's right. I think it's really solid to drive, because I get asked all the time, what are the best 3-row vehicles? What's going to fit for me?
Right.
And one thing that Toyota talked about today, which I think is part of the story, is that family looks like all different things.
Right.
It could be, you don't have to have 2.2 kids and a traditional family to enjoy this vehicle. You could put all the seats down and put your pets in the back. You could be a DIY specialist putting goods in in the back, or
right,
a realtor,
or it's just
whatever.
You and your buddies going, camping or whatever.
It's a great road trip vehicle.
Yeah, it is, and a few other things that help with that. You can put those back seats down in the way back. The second row slides back and forth, so you can create more room for the third row passengers if you want.
And they've added an inch,
yeah,
1.2 inches to the slide in the second row.
Right, and this version now built on their new TNGA architecture is 2.5 inches longer overall, and they said they put all of that extra space in the back in storage, so you have more room to take your gear with you on this.
All your stuff.
Yeah, and then you've got Toyota Safety Sense, which, you know, we're driving the limited version, which is pretty expensive. We're about $49,000 in this vehicle, but you get that on a base L version for $36,000, and that's full range adaptive cruise control, lane trace,
Rear cross traffic alert, pedestrian detection.
Yeah, all the good stuff with automatic emergency braking, all that stuff. So, you know, it's a really safe vehicle as well.
I think that's so important, and I respect that Toyota has done that for their vehicles.
Yeah, and
but it's standard.
Yeah, they do that standard on just about everything. I think the only ones that Toyota Safety Sense isn't standard on are the ones that are co-developed, the Toyota 86 with, you know, that's part Subaru and the Toyota Supra, which is part BMW.
Right.
So all the Toyota developed vehicles, though, have all of that stuff, which is really cool.
Yeah, I don't think safety should be optional.
No, and it's funny because it is standard on every one of these, and that's where they really separate themselves from a lot of the competition. Because, you know, you look at the Telluride or the Palisade or, you know, the Chevy Traverse, and you have to go up a level to start to get some of those safety features where you can get it on a base vehicle here.
I think that's really important. I give Toyota a lot of credit for that.
Yeah.
So would you compare it? How would it compare? How do you think this stacks up with some of the other three-row vehicles on the market?
Yeah, it's, I think, first of all, this architecture is really good that this car is built on. It's very solid. You know, I feel it driving it that it's, you know, really helps set the suspension up properly. So you know, it's just got a good, solid, high-quality feel behind the wheel.
It does. It does feel like that unibody smoothness that we've come to expect.
Right. Yeah. This kind of pioneered that. Originally, all SUVs were these trucks, body on frame, and Highlander became the first SUV to have that car-like ride, and this definitely has it. I mean, let's face it, these are just big station wagons, right? You know, it's 4 doors and a hatchback.
It's not a station wagon.
Okay, fine. If you don't want it to be a station wagon, it doesn't have to be.
Well, there's no back-facing seats.
Oh, yeah, that's right. The rear-facing seat and the roll-down window that, you know, you could kind of lose the kid out of if you weren't paying attention. So, yeah, no, it really drives very much like a car, like you would expect, you know, a Toyota family vehicle to drive. And you also get just it's quiet.
It's very quiet.
It's got all the good infotainment and electronics that you want on this in terms of, you know, the Apple CarPlay, Android Auto now finally. They have in-car Wi-Fi now, so Toyota's caught up there. And so
5 USB ports to go along with that. 5
USB ports, so you can keep everything powered up. And it's, you know, so you look at it, and in this category, I mean, it's a really tough category. They said today in that meeting, there are 24 full mid-size SUVs in the market right now. 24.
It's huge.
And you know, I start thinking about them, and you go, okay, well, then 2 newest ones that are getting all the attention are the Palisade and the Telluride.
Right.
But
both good vehicles.
You know, the Ford Explorer is really good and new. The Chevy Traverse is a nice vehicle. You know, you just start running down that list. The Dodge Durango, right?
So how do you decide?
There are a lot of good ones. And what it boils down to is, for me, it's like, okay, what's important to you? Is safety important to you? Then, you know, Toyota's probably where you want to start looking. The interesting thing is, if style is important to you, Toyota now becomes more of an option, because I think the redesign on this vehicle is really good.
It's very good.
Did you know, what's your impression of it?
The inside, I really like what they've done with some of the trim here, especially, and this one's called Harvest Beige. They also have a caramel
Yes, the
that I'm
caramel.
looking forward to seeing. That's new this year.
It looks yummy.
It looks delicious.
Sweet.
But you know, I'm an audio person. I've talked about this
Yeah.
with Harvey just recently. This JBL stereo, I love the way they have the controls set up because they have physical knobs. It's very easy to change the channel if you want to.
Yeah.
You can easily see what channels you're playing. And with Clarify, which is the JBL specialty, the sound quality is very, very good.
Yeah, what that does is it actually takes, because the signal, like from XM or an MP3, there's a lot of loss in there. Right? Because they want to be able to move that data quickly. Well, what Clarify does is it puts the data back in and it kind of fills in the spaces that are lost. So the sound is much richer than if you were, just listening to the XM on a standard stereo.
Yeah.
I really like it.
I like it. We say thumbs up.
Oh, 2 hands on the wheel.
Talk to you soon. Subscribe.